Hello, welcome to Fox Sports Lab AFL Round 23. Got the Chief here. Let's just go through the tips quickly. So I'm still 4 in front. You need to do something. You need to lift. There's 2 rounds to go. We will kick into finals, but you are a long way behind. I'm down the straight, and you're still 200 behind.
I only had you last week, except inaccuracy cost me. 2 teams that should have won easy got beat by poor kicking. How North lost and conceded 3 goals in the last 90 seconds is beyond me. Ridiculous. And Brisbane should have absolutely cleaned up that game. So it should be a lot closer. But we are getting to the business end, and I'll have to go for a couple more upsets today.
Yeah, no doubt. Brisbane hurt you. And Essendon kicked their way out of it too, 1-9 in the last quarter. You covered that game. So that's the one we're going to kick off with, the Dons and the Swannies. So at Marvel, though, the Swannies have won 5 of their last 6, and Stringer's kicked 2 goals in his last 6 games v Sydney. So there's a hot bomber, but are they hot enough to get over the line with Sydney?
Unpredictable, the Bombers. Sydney, I don't know what to make of them, honestly. I know they came from behind to beat Collingwood. They got the job done, but honestly, they're not playing great footy. I'm going to go for an upset straight off the bat. I'm going to say Essendon can bounce back after a really disappointing loss last week.
So your theory is they're out of finals contention, and you're thinking they're just going to knock off the ladder leaders just because they feel like it.
Yep. Mate, there's no rhyme or reason for form reversals this year, let's be honest.
No, true. It's throwing a dart half the time anyway. I'll go with the Swannies because of their record at Marvel, and Essendon supporters, they'll break your hearts again, I'm assuming, kicking it off. Righto, Giants in the Dockers. So Giants, 6 in a row. They knocked off the Lions, your Lions that you tipped last week, and they were on a 9-game winning streak. So their form is really stacking up against the Dockers, who are disappointing, who now sit in 6th position and giving up their top 4 opportunities. So this one at NG Stadium, and that's been a fortress for the Giants, 16 of the last 17 games.
Bad loss for the Dockers at home against the Cats last week, and they're every chance of bouncing back, but I can't go against the hot hand. The Giants at home, you've got to stick with the good form. They've got some pace in the team now, which I really like, and Jesse Hogan in great form, so I'll stick with the Giants.
So what about Tracy and Darcy return? Does that sway you in any way?
Well, it'll make them a formidable lineup. If it was at Freo, I'd be tipping Freo. Put it that way. I'm just using the home ground advantage.
All right, I'm with you as well on the Giants, that one. The Pies and the Lions, this is interesting because they can be the chaos team now, the Pies, with no finals hope, and the Lions at the MCG. So it's their day record that's troubling here. Lions have lost 15 games at the G during the day. So they haven't got a great record, but the Pies, once again, gave up a lead to the Swannies and absolutely put a fork in their finals chances.
Well, the Lions want to do some serious work in September. They better start winning these sorts of games. I think they were stiff to lose last week. It was a really poor conversion from old Joe and his mates up forward. You can't butcher that many balls and expect to win. I think they'll bounce back against the Pies. Pies, not a lot going for them. Too many players out. I reckon the Lions can get this one done.
Yeah, I reckon the Lions as well. Just quickly on the Lions, Bung. In terms of they won 9 straight, now they're sitting in 5th position. Does that sum up the season, how bizarre this is?
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So one loss and you can tumble down. I mean, just when it looked like they were going to consolidate 2nd spot on the ladder, all of a sudden they're outside the top 4. And there'll be a heap of changes after this weekend and after round 24. So it's a really good time to find your best form.
Yeah, and speaking of some tumbling and some climbing, Port Adelaide now sits 2nd on the ladder after 2 magnificent wins. They've got the Showdown, though. And Adelaide, they've won the last 3 against Port as the underdog, so they're certainly the underdog in this one. And Tex Walker will be out, and Georgiades was out last week, so not sure he'll come back with that quad injury as well. But you're sticking with the power?
Well, I mean, you're right. They've had a couple of massive wins to go, and they have just surged into the top 2. They've got their form up and running. Kenny looks good. So this is exactly the time they let you down. This is when you tip against them, and I'm going for the Crows. I'm concerned that Tex is out. I would have been a lot more confident if Tex was in, but I'll go for the Crows to cause an upset in the Showdown.
It's not a bad call because Marshall will be out too with that concussion. So that's going to be, pretty hard for the forwards to kick a winning score. But Port Adelaide, pretty hot.
Won't you?
What's that?
You'll stick with the favourites.
Of course I will. I'm going with the power. I'm just going to try and just keep crawling.
Yep.
I'm not crawling away. I'm running away from you at the moment. The Eagles and the Blues. Now, this one, Optus Stadium in Perth. Eagles are playing a different brand of footy. We know what they did last week to your North Melbourne counterparts in Blundstone Arena. Sorry for reminding you about that. But they're going to have 6 forced changes, the Blues, and they're going to have no forward line. No Mackay, no Kerner. That is going to make it tough.
It is going to be tough, and for that reason, I'm tipping the Eagles to beat the Blues VFL side. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. You're playing a side that you won't recognise, and McGovern and Barris are going to have an absolute ball down back.
Yeah, and 5 weeks, you said tumble. In 5 weeks, they've gone from 2nd to 9th, the Blues.
Yeah,
so,
and they mightn't be finished yet.
Oh, you're tipping them not to play finals right from here?
Well, if they lose on the weekend, they can't play finals, and I've just tipped the Eagles.
Okay, all right. I was just saying, this bizarre season, they could lose this week, win next week, and probably still make it. That's how bizarre it is. Let's whip through the other games. So the Suns won the first time, jumping over the Blues thanks to Mac Andrew. So they take on the Demons. So Suns at home?
Yeah, begrudgingly. Again, this now, after they finally travelled and had a win, they'll get big swelled heads and maybe think they'll just turn up and win. But Melbourne have been going like bastards too. I don't know what to make of them. A lot of talk about who's happy, who's not. So I'll stick with the Suns at home. But it wouldn't surprise me if this one went haywire as well.
Yeah, I got the Suns. You're throwing out a few. Oh, they're busted. So
mate.
a lot of crap teams at them.
Yep.
Saints and the Cats. So Cats right in contention for that top 4 as well.
They are. No absolute morals either. The Saints had a good win last week. I'll tip the Cats. They keep getting the job done, but you never know with the Saints.
Yep, I'm going with the Cats. And the Dogs and the Roos?
The Dogs. I'm pretty confident in this one. They need to bounce back after a bad loss last week.
Well, and that was the game, wasn't it? It's a bit like what you said with Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
So you just last week you thought, they'll just get it done, and they didn't. They got smashed by Adelaide. Last one is the Hawks and the Tigers. So this is where the Hawks sitting beautifully in 8th position.
They've had some great challenges, the Hawks, and they've answered nearly all of them over the last 3 months. This one, you expect them to turn up and win. That's why I'm a little bit worried. But I'm going for the Hawks, and hopefully they get the job done.
Yeah, I'm going Hawks as well. Right, big call time. So we've been nailing these. I mean, your tips have been awful, but your big calls have been outstanding. I'll kick it off because Hogan, I'm going to go 4+. So he's done that in 5 of his last 6 games, but then I'm going to roll it into a Giants win currently at about $1.50. So rolled up, you're going to get around circa $4.50, which is pretty healthy. What are you doing, Chief?
I'm going for Jake Waterman to kick 3+ goals. I think he didn't have the kicking boots on last week. He'll get some shots for goal. Wiedering goes to Oscar Allen, you would imagine. So that should leave Jake Waterman with a matchup that he actually likes, and maybe he can get amongst the goals. So 3+ for him, and roll that into a nice little multi.
Yeah, nice. Like it. Geez, we're sticking with the big forwards over the last couple of weeks. We're hoping there's big bags.
Yep.
Jesse Hogan's leading the column, so he'll kick away now. Charlie's not playing this week. Chief, appreciate your time. Only 2 to go in the regular season. Look forward to beating you by 10, and then we'll kick into finals. Might restart the clock.
Good on you.
See you, mate.
See ya.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.